Extract tables out of PDFs with Document Understanding from UiPath. This will be a very nice use case. You should build it yourself, so open up UiPath and do the operations with me. In that way you will understand everything. Let me present the case. I have a folder here with some timesheets, PDFs, 1, 2, 3. We could have many more. But for the simplicity, I only took 3. The PDFs look like this. It's from a fictive company called Jensen RPA. That one, of course, doesn't exist, and I don't have any employees. However, it's timesheet data. We have names, titles, employee numbers, departments, and then a table with working hours and dates. I want to extract the employee number and this table here. We can check the other timesheets. We can see that they are similar in structure. That is Vicky, employee 8 with some different data, and Lisa with some other data. We will use the Form Extractor from the Document Understanding package. If you would like to extract unstructured data, for example, different types of invoices or so, check the video up here in the right corner. But we'll continue with this. So we go to UiPath. Then I'll create a process. We could call this Doc Understanding. Then we'll click Create. That's it. We will open up our main workflow. The first thing that we'll need to do is to install some packages. So go up here to Manage Packages, then click the All Packages so we can search for packages. Click Search, Document Understanding, search for that, click it, and then click Install. Then we need the Intelligent OCR package. Intelligent OCR, take this one, click Install. Finally, we need the OmniPage Activities here. OmniPage Activities, click Install here. Then we will click Save. We'll click I accept. And we have installed our 3 packages that we will use in our workflow. We need to create a taxonomy. A taxonomy will tell some information about our document that we will use. So first we can just find a load taxonomy in the activities. It's here. Drag it in. So it will take a taxonomy and then we will output it to a variable. So in this output variable, I'll press Ctrl K and I can just call this taxonomy. This one has created a taxonomy variable. We can see it down here in variables. Then we'll create some input that will be stored in this output variable. So go up to Taxonomy Manager. Let me fit it to the window here. Like this. So we need to create a group. That could be my company. So I'll just say Anders Jensen RPA. Click yes. And we will have a category. Usually this one will be a department, and let's say that it's finance that will handle these timesheets. So I'll create a new category. I'll say finance. Then I'll click OK. Now we can add a new document type. This one I will call timesheets, as they are timesheet indeed. And we can create some new fields. The first thing that we want to extract, that was the employee number, and then afterwards the table. So I'll create a field that will say employee number. This one will be text, and then I'll click Save. We can see that we have it here. Then we need the table, so I'll create new field. Name, that will be, I can just call it timesheet, that table. And I'll choose table from the drop down. Then we need to specify the columns in the table. The columns, that is date, start time, end time, regular hours, overtime hours, and total hours. Let us get that in here. So we'll click here, say date, pick text, that will be easier to work with most of the times. Then we'll have a new one. So we'll have start time, take text, and so forth. Let us just create these, end time, text as well. Then we have the regular hours. We have the overtime hours. and we have total hours. That's it. That was all our columns. Then I'll click Save here and save. The operation was successful. We have created our taxonomy. We can now close the manager like this. What we need to do is to digitize our document. So we have a document out here that we want to digitize. We want to create a solution that will take all documents in the folder. However, in the first part, we will just take one and then we can expand it later in the video. So I'll search for a Digitize Document here, drag it in. The input, that one will be just one of these. So I'll take the first one, I'll shift right click on it, copy as path. Then I go back to UiPath and in variables, I will create a variable called str document path. Then over in default, I'll simply just paste in what I copied. So here, I'll read this into a variable and that variable I'll use up here. So I'll type str document path like this. The output, that will be stored in a string here, document text, and then the document object model, which will be information and properties about the text. So up here, I just press Control K, and I'll call this str document text. That will create a new variable here. And in the document object model, I'll press Control K again, and I can just say DOM. So we created two new variables here. Then we need a OCR engine. I'll choose the OmniPage here. Simply just drag it in. It's free and I think it's the best one, but feel free to use other OCR engines. Now we can start to extract the data. So I'll find a data extraction scope here, drag it in underneath. Here we have the document path. Well, we created a variable for this. So you can go down here, press Control space, you'll have the IntelliSense, and choose the str document path. The taxonomy, we also created this one, so I'll just fill this one in. The document text and the document object model, those ones are the ones from up here. So simply fill this one in too, and the document object model here. The document type idea. We need to find that somewhere. So go out to your project folder. You can see that it's created a folder called document processing. So open that one and here's a JSON. We can right click and I choose to open it with Notepad++. If you haven't installed Notepad++, I'll recommend you to do it. It's a very nice document. You can edit all sorts of JSONs and other programming files. So I'll just click Edit with Notepad++ and we can see the JSON here. It's basically just information about all these here, about the taxonomy. And what we need to use is the document type idea. Copy this one out. So Control C. We go back to UiPath and then we can just type it in here in the document type idea. It's in quotation marks. We'll just hard code it in. We will only use it here. That's it. Now we need to extract it to a variable. So we just go down here, press Control K. I'll say extraction results. You can call it whatever you want, like this. Then we will need a extractor. And as I told you, let us look at the data. It's structured data. They all look the same. So I'll use the Form Extractor. Go over to Activities. Then find a Form Extractor. It's here. Drag it in. The endpoint, that is fine. The API key. We go to platform.uipath.com and then you log in with your account. And it will look like this. Then you go to admin, you go to licenses, you go to other services, and here we will generate a API key and we will copy that one in. Then we go back to UiPath and we can either create a variable for the API key or we can simply just in quotation marks paste it in. We will only use it here, so I'll just paste it in. Then we need to manage templates. So I'll click that one. Here you can see it's empty. We don't have any templates. Let me expand it again. I'll click Create Template. Document type. That is the timesheets we created in our taxonomy manager. Template name, well, just call it timesheets, doesn't matter a lot. Then we need to provide a template document. We need to show UiPath, the document understanding, what data we want out of our data. So we click the 3 dots here. I'll choose my timesheet 1 and then I'll click open. We can use Microsoft OCR. However, you know I prefer the OmniPage OCR, but feel free to use whatever OCR engine you want. Then we click configure. It will take a few seconds where we digitize the document, and let me fit it to the screen again. Here. Click OK if you got this pop-up. What we need to do here is that in the matching info, we need to provide some patterns on the page that document understanding will say, hey, when it says timesheet, I know this is a timesheet template. So we need to configure that. What you need to do is to hold Control down. And what will always be on these timesheet templates? Well, the timesheet here. What will also always be, that could just be Anders Jensen, RPA. Feel free to add more. You need to add at least 5. Then you click the plus here. That one will extract the value. It will become green and you can see it over here. So now we're told that this is indeed a timesheet document. We need to tell where we can find the employee number. That is down here. So what I do here is that I will take this field. Maybe it's a long employee number. I will extract it here. I'll say custom area. Then I'll press the plus again. And you can see here that this one will extract whatever number is in here. That's fine. We're told where we will find the employee number. Then we'll need to extract a table. So click this table tool here. Then go over to the 3 dots. Click extract new table. You can see here we can scroll a little bit down. And then I'll just mark my table. But we don't need the headers. So those one are not to be extracted. We already defined the headers. So simply just do this. When we do this, we will also extract these fields down here. So suppose there were data in, we will just extract them. Then we will go up and define the column headers. So we created them before in the taxonomy. So we'll just say date is date. We named it the same, so it's quite easy now. The end is end. The regular is regular. The overtime is overtime. And the total is total. Like here, we scroll down again and we'll say save new table. That's it. We can now see our table here. That's fine. This one will extract the 8, 8, 10, 8, even though it doesn't look like. So we'll just say click save. Then we can close down the template manager. And we need to configure extractors. So click configure extractors. Here, click the arrow over here. We will need all data. So just mark like this and then click save. That's it. Now we need to export these extraction results. So in activities, find a export extraction results, go down here. The input, that will be the extraction results from up here. And the output will be a simple dataset. So we can just say Control K and I can just call this dataset. That's it. Let's just try to print this dataset out. What will be our output data? We will take a look at this. So this one is just to understand what we are actually doing. I'll recommend you doing so. So find a for each. That's here and drag it in. So for each item, and then we'll say dataset and we will make it data tables. So tables like this. What you need to do up here in the type argument, change it, click the drop down and change it to data table like here. What we'll do here is that we will output these data tables to strings and then print them out. So find a output data table. If you want to understand what's going on with data tables, click the video up here in the right corner. That will teach you everything about data tables. But I assume you know about it, so we can just drag it in or you can watch it afterwards. The output data table, that will take an input. That one will be our created data tables up here. So that one will just be items. This one. Then the output, that will be a text. I'll just say Control K, and I'll say str. You can just say test, as this is only for testing purposes. Then we will have a write line, and we will write it out like this. We can also just close down our PDFs as we no longer need them. Let's try to run it like this, and we can go down to output. We can see here that we indeed have our employee number timesheet, that is to table, that is just information about the timesheet. That's fine, we get the employee number out, then we get a duplicate, and we have another one where we extract our tables, and then we have the tables again. So what we need here is the first entry and the third entry. We don't need the other ones as they are duplicates. We will notice that for later use. What we then need to do, I'll recommend that our strategy will be to build a data table in the beginning of the workflow. So up here, we will do so, because now we will output it to a data table so we can write it to Excel. Or use it in another system. So build data table. Then we'll choose the data table here. Delete everything that's in, we don't need that. And the only thing that we will put in is the employee number. So we'll say employee number. Then we'll click OK and click OK here. We will output it to a data table variable. So go over here, press Ctrl K. We can call it DT output, like here. That's it. So what we need to do is to merge. We have this one up here. That's just an empty data table with, or actually it's a column with nothing in, but we need to merge this with our output down here. So I scroll down here, and remember this was just for testing purposes. We will just let it be a few minutes more. So when we have extracted the results here, we need to merge it with the output data table that we just created. So find a merge. We will drag in the merge. We will need to merge our newly created data table up here, DT output, with the one that we get out from the data extraction where our table data is. So we'll combine the employee number with the extracted table. So in merge data table, the destination, that will be DT output, and we want to extract our third extracted. Remember that was the table. So what we'll say here is that just dataset, then dot tables, parentheses 2, like this. So now we merged these two. However, we haven't added the employee number. The employee number column is still empty. So we want to iterate through each row in this newly created data table. So for each row, drag it in underneath here. So we'll say for each row in DT output, like this. And then we will have an assign in here that will assign the employee number because that is empty. So drag in and assign here. So we'll say row, that is the current row that we are iterating through. And we'll say item, quotation marks, employee number, like this. That's where we want to assign the value to. What value will we take out? Well, we will take out the employee number. To do so, let me go over here in value. We will say dataset dot tables, and we will look at the first table, index 0. Then we'll say dot rows, the first row, that was where the employee number was. Then we'll say item, employee number, and then we'll have a toString, like here. That's it. So now we have our employee number in our data table. Then we simply just need to write it out to Excel. So find a write range, take the workbook activities down here and drag it in. The workbook path, well, let's go to our timesheet. Let's create just a simple Excel sheet here. So new Excel worksheet like this, shift right click, copy as path. So we will create a variable for this. So go down to variables, str, Excel path. Then we'll paste in the value over here like this. Now we can use it up here in the workbook path, str Excel path. We'll write to sheet 1, that's fine. We'll delete this, and then we'll have the DT output, like here. Finally, just add headers, and we should have extracted our data from the first timesheet. Let's look at it. So we'll run it. then we can expect that we indeed had extracted things that we wanted afterwards. Like here, we can go down to our folder again. Let me open it. Boom, there you have it. You have real data extracted out. So let's look at the date. If you want to learn to format these dates, we won't do it here as this is not important, then take the video in the upper right corner. However, we have only extracted 1 employee. Let's just create a workflow where we extract for all my 3 employees. So close down the Excel sheet. So we go back to UiPath, and in the beginning we need to have a for each. So let me take this taxonomy up here. So after the taxonomy, we only need to create the taxonomy once. We will have a for each here. This one will iterate through the files. So for each item, and then I just want this folder here that's called timesheets. So we can just change the variables down here. Let me mark this. So instead of just having 1, we have it right here. See? Like this. We change the document path simply. So we'll say here, say Directory.GetFiles str document path, like this. Remember to change this to strings. What this does is just give us the file names so we can use them later on here in the workflow. So let me minimize this. That's it. So then we can drag everything in here. So we will have the build data table. That's fine. Oh, sorry. We'll have the build data table. We'll do that for each. Then we'll have the digitize document. However, we will not use the str document path, but we will use the item. So change this to item. Then we'll have the data extraction scope dragged in. Again, we will change this to item, like here. We will have the extraction results. Nothing to change here. Then this one was just a test. We can delete this. Then the merge data table, we'll have that in as well. For each row in DT output, that one was fine too. And finally, the right range will stay out here. However, we will need to create a data table where we just, an empty one, where we add the results for each file to that data table. So find in a build data table. We'll just use it here in the beginning. So again, it will be, actually this time it will be a complete empty one. So everything is deleted. Do this. Then over here, I can say DT final, like here. What we then do in this for each, we will have another merge where we merge our DT output to our DT final. Yes, I know. So merge data table, the destination, that will be the DT final, and the source will be the DT output. So we simply just merge it here, and then we write the DT final out here. Boom. We now created a dynamic solution that will take all the PDFs file from here. So we could specify that we only want to look at PDFs, so we don't look at other files. We'll do that up here in the Directory.GetFiles. We'll say comma, then we will have a quotation marks, asterisk, dot, PDF, another quotation marks. This one will work. We can run it like this. We can go back to our timesheets, open up the Excel sheet. Boom, there you have it, employee data for all your employees. Isn't that smart? Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or acknowledgements to this video. That will really help me a lot. If you want more document understanding, check the video to the left where we will extract unstructured data, or check the video to the right where we will use regex to extract data.